something that's going to keep me on the edge of my seat here the whole time, and that's about all I can ask for as a commentator, But I'm being a little selfish here,
Well, regardless of the matter, we got ourselves a race now. MadMega's going to Flashman, and Talentless is going to Quickman. So now that we're on the way, we can get started telling what to expect from our randomizer. As you can expect, this Mega Man 2 randomizer pretty much randomizes just about anything and everything that isn't Mega Man's movie himself and the general layout of the Robot Master stages. What the randomizer randomizes is pretty much what you're hearing right now. We got music change. You can hear from Talentless stream. We got some Blizzard Buffalo in Quickman stage. We also got random enemies. The enemies' damage and weaknesses are randomized. Bosses are randomized in a given Robot Master room. The AI quirk that a Robot Master gives, the weapon that it gives, in a potential item after being said Robot Master. It randomizes color. It randomizes all. In short, it just randomizes a whole lot.
Yeah, it does randomize the color of the bosses we'll see in the Wily stages as well. I believe those are the only bosses that are fixed throughout the entirety of the game, as we're going to see our first boss as MadMegaX makes it to the gate, and we're about to see which boss is actually hiding behind door number 1. And it looks like Woodman.
And Woodman's got a fast firing leaf shield and jumps pretty high, while we got a vanilla Quickman in Quick Room. And we got a Buster Weak Quickman at least, while it looks like I'm gonna say that was a pretty Buster Weak Woodman. It's hard to tell. The colors of the Robot Masters can make the colors of the boss meter very hard to see, so it's kind of hard to tell if Woodman was Buster Weak or not. Regardless of the matter, both our runners defeated their Robot Masters pretty easily. And we got an item 3 in Quickman stage. So we're gonna see what that's gonna have in store in future stages.
Interesting to note that both of the runners have picked, not necessarily in the same order, but they've gone Flashman and Quickman as their 2 opening stages.
Yeah, these 2 stages are your typical starting points for randomizer races, because they're usually relatively simple. Well, of course, with Quickman with the force beams, it's usually not that simple, but it's simple enough to actually run through it without any extra weapons or items. You also will probably get an E-Tank along the way, since they are usually very easy to get. And you're probably going to be needing a lot of them, because as you can see in past randomizer races, randomizer, even at its easiest setting, can be pretty brutal.
I think MadMega dropping down the right side and then moving to the left of the quick beams. I almost thought he was going to end up taking a death there because of being a little bit further behind, but it looks like he got through it all right. Looks like Talentless here is picking up his second E-Tank, and to be perfectly honest with you, if I could have 4 E-Tanks at any given point, that would give me the peace of mind where I can go into a boss and just kind of brute force my way through, or as the case in Wily stages will be, having to find whatever weakness the boss has.
And I can barely make out the boss meter on Woodman, and he is indeed Buster Weak. So Quickman and Woodman are both Buster Weak, or at least soft weak. For what we mean about soft weak, the randomizer, just like Vanilla, has 4 bosses that are gonna be soft weak to the Buster. So since we're playing on easy mode for this tournament, just for simplicity's sake, that means there are gonna be 4 bosses that's gonna take 4 damage from the Buster. So you're gonna be hoping for some pretty annoying Robot Masters to be quick to beat with the Buster.
Yeah, I'm definitely hoping that, for the runner's sake, Heatman would be one of those bosses. Ooh, it looks like Talentless using a little pause buffer to get through what very easily could have been a visit down into the abyss, courtesy of our little frogs being thrown out over the top of a pit.
Yeah, with the way that the randomizer has fixed Airman stage, that particular area is actually a very dangerous jumping point. For those that don't know, that Airman stage has been rearranged in the recent versions of Randomizer due to potential glitching with some enemies and the Lightning Lords for the open air section, especially with the birds, since the birds, as you can see, it usually gets rid of sprites. Of course, you don't want a bird to get rid of a cloud that you're trying to jump on all of a sudden and make the open air section impassable.
Yeah, that would make things slightly difficult. But,
Clearly.
You know, unless you have item 2, that would make it almost impossible to get across. So I definitely agree with that change, adding the platforms there. And it looks like we're going to have Bubble Man at the end of Airman stage.
Pretty fast Bubble Man. Unfortunately, he's not the aggressive, chasing, hugging Deus Ex Machina Bubble AI. Talentless decides to use the Metal Blade just to hit him from above. It's not a weakness, but it makes for an effective way to defeat Bubble Man. Meanwhile, Mad Mega going through Bubble Man stage, about to face his Robot Master in a few moments.
Yeah, it's he's coming to the boss door right now, so we'll see what's at the end of Bubble Man stage. And Talentless is yet again picking pretty much the same stage that Mad Mega's on, as we see it's Airman at the end of the Bubble Man stage.
We're about to see we're going to get some Velcro air. And look like we're about to have some Velcro air. Airman having some very weird properties in Bubble Man stage thanks to the low height with the underwater physics. For some reason, he just tends to cling to ceilings.
Well, he is Airman after all. I mean, you know, should be his natural element up there in the sky. Or at the top of the fish tank, as this may be with the Bubble Man stage here.
Well, it definitely makes things interesting as you try to possibly not hit the spikes trying to hit them on the way up. Meanwhile, Talentless with the pretty flawless Bubble Zip, skipping about a good chunk of Bubble Man stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Any zip that you can perform is usually over an area that is, you know, otherwise going to be very difficult for the runners to navigate through. And in true fashion, it's almost like they made a gentleman's agreement to run the stages. You know, of course, I can't confirm this, but hey, as a commentator, I get to speculate. You know, Mad Mega's going through Airman stage, which is the stage that Talentless had previously done on his side.
And right now, it's probably seemed like that Talentless probably has at least maybe about 2/3 of a Robot Master lead, because right now they're going through the exact same stages. Right, there's no deviation at this current moment, and Airman is another Buster Week enemy. Wasn't able to make that out during Mad Mega's fight. So right now we have, let's see, we got Wood, Quick, and Air as the current Buster Soft Week bosses. And we only know that we have item 3 right now. We're still on the lookout for the remaining 2 items.
So that's going to be unfortunate, because Crashman and Heatman are still in the mix, and those are definitely stages where you want to have the items going into those stages. So, you know, going into Woodman, and I would suspect Metal Man next for Talentless after getting through Woodman.
Apologies, but Talentless currently has item 3. Item 3 can be used for the good wood zip as another potential setup. I probably would recommend to use item 3, since item 1 wouldn't even be guaranteed to be zippable, since item 1 is the only item that has a randomized factor. It might not have even get Talentless up to the position to do good wood. So with item 3 and quick boomerang in hand, Talentless actually made a smart decision to go on and do Woodman stage. But we're gonna see if he actually goes for good wood right now as Mad Mega goes after Bubble Man.
And it looks like Bubble Man's just taking normal damage here from the Buster. Now, all of the bosses, since this is easy mode, will take damage from the Buster. So, technically, they're all vulnerable to the Buster to some degree. Which, it doesn't look like Talentless went for the good wood skip as he's going through, the rest of the stage.
That's fine. More of a good reason to listen to the second intro theme of Mega Man 04, good old Esperanto, one of my favorites. Anyway, as he continues on Metal Man stage, Mad Mega's dealing with a little Fat Fan trouble in Metal Man stage. On the one available, so unfortunately he's gonna have to deal with them along the way. At least the Fat Fans are in the area where it's not too bad to traverse.
Yeah, the Fat Fan's going to cause problems pretty much everywhere it shows up. Definitely more so if there's a pit that it's just going to blow you back into and just say, nope, goodbye. You're going in the pit. See ya. And it looks like we have Metal Man at the end of Woodman stage.
It looked like Talentless finds himself a pretty strong weakness in crash bombs for Metal Man. So we find ourselves at least one weakness that isn't South weak to Buster. But the thing is, Talentless didn't check for Buster. He just went straight for a search for weapons, which isn't a bad thing.
Well, that's definitely going to help on the refights as well when you're in the Wily 4 stage, I believe. And that will, help you go through and just go, all right, I know what I need to use for each boss. And Mad Mega checking for the Fat Fans at the end of the E-Tank pit and not finding any, which is definitely a good thing for him, heading into the boss door.
Talentless finds item 1 in Woodman stage, but it's stagnant. But he's trying to do this pixel perfect zip that you can do in the beginning of the stage. Honestly, if you don't know how to do it, I would not recommend trying this, because as you're seeing right now, Talentless is kind of struggling to try to make this zip work. That can cost the race if he continues in this manner, not knowing exactly how to do this zip properly.
Well, being the enemies are where they were, it's just kind of an unfortunate, occurrence, as we see Mad Mega going for Heatman, and it looks like he was dealt with fairly easily, but Talentless was able to pull off the zip as he's traded a life to get through the elevator stages in Crashman stage here.
Mad Mega defeats Heatman in Metal Man's room handily, no issues there, and he's going to Woodman, where he's probably going to get his item 1. Right now, Talentless did not do the good with utilizing item 3. We're going to see if Mad Mega tries for it, but odds are he probably won't either.
Well, I'm not sure he picked up item 3 yet. Then I wasn't looking at his screen when the boss was defeated.
Oh wait, then again, I forgot if he caught it in Airman stage. If it was an Airman, no. Mad Mega did Airman stage. He should have gone on. Yeah, he has.
Yeah,
item
he does
3.
have item 3. I'm sorry, it was item 1 that's throwing me off. I'm.
Don't mess with my head like that.
I'm messing with my own head. Don't worry. I'm sitting there going, wait a second. Malfunction, error.
But yeah, as anticipated, Mad Mega does not go for the item 3 version of the Good Wood Zip, inclined to just go through the scenic route of Woodman stage. Meanwhile, we got a Vanilla Crash in Vanilla Crash room. And he is not Buster Soft weak, but looks like, yep, he's Quick Soft weak. So there's a soft weakness in Quick Boomerangs, so that's another weakness in Talentless's arsenal to use in the future.
Yeah, it's definitely good knowledge to be able to, get through the refights as quickly as possible, because anytime you're, in a menu, you're not completing a stage. So the less time you spend menuing, the better, from my point of view, at least.
It depends. Sometimes you don't want to just waste so much time looking for weaknesses, because due to the fact that this is a randomizer, we already said the boss weaknesses are random. You could be digging for weaknesses for a good little minute and still find that you don't have a hard or soft weakness for a robot master. So you wind up doing all that digging and searching for weapons for no reason and wasting extra time.
It's definitely a risk, risk versus reward. So far, at least on Talentless's side, it seems to have paid off, as he's found 2 weaknesses to the robot masters that I'm almost certain will come back into play for the refights.
Meanwhile, as Mad Mega defeats Metal Man is our final Buster Week enemy. So while Talentless did find a hard weakness in Crash Bombs, it was almost kind of pointless, as the weakness for Metal Man was Buster. So weapon consumption could come into a bit of a play.
That's very true. That's always an issue as well, because you don't get, any finite ammo refills in the Wily stages. All of the item energy carries over from stage to stage, unless you unfortunately take a game over. It definitely could leave you on a Wily machine that's weak to a particular item, but you've used that item already, and leave you in a position you definitely don't want to be in. But the way things are looking right now, since we know what 7 of the stages are, Item 2 seems to be at the end of the Heat Man stage, and that is going to be rough, because you want Item 2 for the Heat Man stage to get through that massive Yoku block pit, and it looks like they're going to have to deal with that, as neither runner will be able to pick up Item 2.
Yep, that was pointed out in chat. So if you're not used to doing the Yoku blocks, that's going to be a pretty rough roadblock. But if you do know how to do the Yoku block section, it's really not as hard as one may think. It's more intimidating, if anything. But as you said before, if you don't know how to do it, then yeah, that's gonna be something interesting to try to go through.
Well, what's interesting about the Yoku blocks is their appearance timing is modified slightly, because it's not always the same from run to run, but it is stage to stage, so you can get into a pattern, and if this were to occur again, say in Game 2 or Game 3, if we get that far, and you have to go through the Yoku block section, they may be going at a different speed, so you end up getting the timing messed up from where you think they're going to be.
I remember being told that actually the Yoku blocks are actually more active the further right you are. So the further ahead you are on the Yoku blocks, the faster they actually appear. I don't want to send out any misinformation, but at the same time, that's one of the things that I think I remember hearing about the Yoku blocks in Heatman Stage in particular.
See, these Yoku blocks are just spawning at, lightning speed here, whereas normally they go and you can kind of listen and get the pattern down, and it's slowed down a little bit now, so it looks like Talentless is getting into his groove and settling into the pattern of the Yoku blocks appearing here. And it looks like he's going to pause buffer the rest of the way and make it through.
Well, with the 2 runners converging on Heatman stage, we can actually see that this is actually a pretty tight race for what the randomizer can actually dish out. Mad Mega, while starting at the beginning of Heat stage, In all honesty, that's really not too far. Heatman stage is technically a really short stage, although the Yoku without having item 2 is still technically a little longer, but it's really straightforward.
Yeah, that's very true. You know, it looks like Talentless is gonna be headed into Wily about 20 minutes and about I want to say the 15 to 17 second mark. As he's finished off his last boss. Well, we'll get the item 2 here as well, so that'll take a little bit of extra time. But right now, it looks like MadMega's going for the zip in Heatman stage. As 20 minutes and 30 seconds, we have you know, Talentless heading into Wily 1 stage, so we can see exactly how far MadMega's going to be behind, and missing the zip here is going to cost him a good bit of time, unfortunately.
Well, speaking of Wily 1, we got a tradition as MadMega unfortunately takes the death to the bunnies, thanks to the awful lag. But enough about lag, let's talk about dragons. We got a dragon to guess the color of, so Frico, have at it.
I'm going to go green with a yellow body.
We're gonna go traditional dragon here. I'm gonna go mostly red. I don't really care what underside he got. We're just gonna go red.
So the well, it looks like we might have MadMega checking the crash blocks, and we find that the leaf shield is our weapon of choice when we get to that particular area where we need. I always forget that boss name.
Boobing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But yeah, and also a little bit of information. The leaf shield is actually not reversed horizontally. The leaf shield's properties has it so that the direction in which you can fire can be reversed horizontally and or vertically. While we don't know the direction that is going to go vertically, we do know that the horizontal direction is normal for the leaf shield, so that's a little piece of information that MadMega holds.
Alright, well, we've got Talentless here getting ready for the dragon fight at the end of Wily 1, and MadMega is on his way to finish off his last robot stage.
That is an interesting looking dragon.
Well, do I get any points for calling the green part? Because that is definitely a gray dragon with a green belly.
But you call a different color belly, so I ain't gonna give you a pass on that one.
Hey, that's why I asked. How much accuracy is the thing here? Looks like the dragon is looking for a steady diet of crash bombs here, and it looks like Talentless is going to take a fall, unfortunately, as he's on the wrong side of that middle block there. Oh, he's pause buffering. Can he get back to that first? This is going to be tough, but he might be able to pull it off. Oh no, unfortunately.
It was really hard. The area of the dragon is really laggy, so pause buffering is actually really tough. This could give MadMega just a little bit more leeway as he tries to catch up. So the lead that Talentless has, it has shrunk a significant bit thanks to that death.
Yeah, we were looking at about a minute and a half going into the Wily 1 stage. If MadMega can take advantage of this, reprieve that was given to him, he might be able to recover from taking that death in the Heatman stage earlier.
Finding that bunnies are blocking the ladder climb up en route to the dragon. This is one of the cruelest areas to have an enemy block the way, and we got the final piece of information as far as leaf shield direction goes. It's actually reversed vertically, so Talentless is climbing down in order for the leaf shield to fire upwards, but it really didn't kill the bunny anyway, so Talentless was struggling quite a bit to make that climb. And MadMega's about to find that same reality as. What does he do? What does he do? Nope.
Oh, leaf shield. Nope. Gotta go. Bye. Next screen for you, sir. It'll be. Oh, looks like he's using Flash Stopper here and just having none of that nonsense about having to deal with the bunny.
So now, what was a pretty hefty lead by Talentless, now the lead is getting smaller and smaller by the second as MadMega is now approaching the dragon. And Talentless is still kind of having issues with the dragon, but was still able to manage to kill him.
Yeah, it looks like it's about a 17, maybe 18 second lead, 20 at most. But, you know, MadMega's going to lose a little bit of time here because he'll have to check the items. And, of course, the Crash Bombs being last on the list, that's going to lose him a little bit of time here. But, just for the record, it's...
Oh, well, never mind.
He's going to take a death himself, too. Oh, so unfortunate.
So that pretty much balances out and pretty much gives back the extended lead that Talentless has. But MadMega did find Leaf Shield as the second weakness for the dragon.
Yeah, this is definitely not, you know, the most favorable situation for MadMega here. I don't ever want to say one runner's definitely going to win, but... you know, with a lead of this nature, it looks like, you know, Talentless has a little time to check our crash blocks here and see if he can figure out what the weakness is. And so far, he's not found it, and there he goes. He's found Leaf Shield to be the weakness of the crash blocks.
So we got MadMega on his way towards round 2 of the Dragon, while Talentless is going through the long corridor of Wily 2 on his way to Pico Pico. So, like you said, right now, with the given lead that we have right now, it's Talentless' race to lose, but there is still quite a bit that can come along the way between Wily 3 up to Wily 6. It's not set in stone, but Talentless is gonna have to do a lot more screw ups now in order for MadMega to catch up.
Yeah, this is definitely a lead that's gonna rely a lot more on MadMega trying to find some sort of, you know, I don't really want to say Hail Mary, but it almost is at this point, to find some way to gain back the time that's been lost. Talentless seemed to check Metal Blades and it was working, but I don't think he wanted to use that. And looks like settling in on Quick Boomerang to deal with the Pikatan.
Well, he was using Atomic Fire, and Atomic Fire was one-shotting them, but I want to say that the ammo consumption was really high for even to one-shot them. So in respect to weapon consumption, he was just looking for another weapon to defeat our ever so friendly flying toasters.
And right on cue, just as you say that, Talentless picks off our flying toasters, as you so desire to call them, and he's off to Wily 3 as MadMega's on his way down and about ready to head into the meat of the Wily 2 stage here. And already knowing the crash block weakness, he's going to pick up an 1-up and an extra energy tank.
Probably going to need to watch that Leaf Shield weakness. As you said, those are the weaknesses for the walls, and we don't know the weaknesses for Boobie himself. So if he has little ammo to break the walls with the Leaf Shield, that could come up as another critical point for MadMega's run. Meanwhile, Talentless is going safely through Wily 3, no major hindrances of the fan type at least, going straight to the end of Wily 3 and onwards to the Gust Tank.
Yeah, I think MadMega is kind of getting semi-trolled here, getting a lot of energy drops, and I think he was looking for some weapon energy drops so he could try to refill. And now we're going to see if MadMega can figure out any kind of the weaknesses, and it looks like he's going with the charged fire for now, but it's definitely not going to have enough weapon energy to... Well, it looks like he switched to air shooter and seems to be working out.
Yeah, much less ammo consumption and one shots the Picos. So we found that it's charged heat, air, and quick boomerangs for Pico, while Talentless also finds quick boomerang for Guts tank, but it's running severely low on quick boomerangs. Quick boomerang consumption is really low for what it is. I mean, really high, I mean.
Yeah, usually you can get 4 shots out of a quick boomerang for every 1 tick on the energy meter, if I recall the vanilla game correctly. That's definitely not the case here, as the energy consumption is randomized and not in a way that's favorable for the players. MadMega remembering that he already has 4 E-tanks and not bothering to pick up the 5th one, which would do nothing. But what I need to know is if they even bother to randomize Guts Dozer there. Seems to be the quick boomerang almost every time takes him out. I don't know. I'm gonna have to...
they randomized the Guts tank. It just... The seed just says no right now, as far as randomized weaknesses go.
The Talentless actually trying to jump through the bottom area of the stage to test where the holes are in this particular area, as they are randomized, and pulls off the zip to go to the top of the next screen as well, and skipping over the spike pit entirely.
Yeah, that's a pretty useful vertical scroll, because of the fact that it's the fake floors are random. You really don't want to risk just walking across and hoping for the best. Also, you can also use item 2 for that area if you have it, but it seems that Talentless just decide to just, if you got the means to do a vertical scroll, you might as well do it.
Yeah, that's very true. Looks like we might see a damage boost here to get out of this stage. Yep, there we go. With all this lag, I would not endorse the usage of pause buffering like you saw here to get around that particular block and not bother to wait for the elevator.
So MadMega's on his way to Wally 4. Still not too far behind. He's definitely keeping up, but Talentless is about to fight Boo Beam, and we're about to dig for the weakness for Boo Beam. Of course, we already know that the walls are weak to Leaf Shield, so that's the first thing Talentless decides to do: destroy the walls with the Leaf Shield, and then he's gonna dig for weaknesses. So what's gonna be our weakness today for this seed?
Well, I was actually about to ask if you would actually try to use the Metal Blade and just shoot straight up at the Boo Beam right underneath the gate, because that way you could get around, you know, oh geez. Looks like 2 crash bombs for each Boo Beam pod. I believe that is the vanilla weakness of Boo Beam as well.
Yes, it is. And it's all another randomized quirk that Talentless just displayed. There's the potential that the crash bombs can be spammable. In vanilla game, whenever a crash bomb's out, you can't fire it again until the explosion period ends. For the randomized quirk for the crash bombs, you can shoot it again and again, regardless if the crash bomb is out or during the explosion. The consequence of that, though, is that the crash bomb that's already out disappears when you fire another crash bomb.
Alright, so just for the record, we have 3423, where Talentless starts his boss refights, just so we can see where MadMega's going to be at once he gets out of this stage. Looks like Airman's being pretty clingy again, since he's in the water room of Buttleman yet again.
Good old Velcro Air.
Hanging out at the top of the stage.
MadMega having some issues with the second to last moving platform spike room. Opting to ride the platform on the way towards the exit.
Well, it looked
taking
like
it a
he
little
was trying to go for a damage boost, and you know, with all of the lag, I completely understand why he went to clear out the lag first before trying to get through that room.
Meanwhile, Talentless continuing his decimation of the robot masters in the refights to the tune of Flame Mammoth. For those that are unaware about this particular aspect of the randomizer, the refight stages allows for one unique track, and it plays throughout the entire fight non-stop, no interruptions from boss music and teleporting in and out of boss rooms. It's just one continuous playthrough.
And I believe that will be his 5th boss fight for Talentless here. As MadMega looks to be farming for weapon energy.
Yeah, he was farming for Leaf Shield, it seems. He was pretty low.
Well, it's not a bad idea. I mean, you definitely know that the Leaf Shield is MadMega firing a Leaf Shield into the ground, learning that the vertical property is reversed of the Leaf Shield. So I think this should be enough to, you know, let MadMega get through and start to find the weakness for the Boo Beam lasers. And it's unfortunately going to be the Crash Bombs, which are almost certainly going to be last on the list. Trying to pause buffer to avoid taking the damage, and doesn't seem like it's working out too well. And to note, MadMega, oh no, takes a death. I believe he still had 2 E-Tanks left.
He had 4 E-Tanks left.
I know he used one earlier in the stage, so I think he had at least, you know, 2 if not 3, and MadMega missing a damage boost trying to hit one of the carrot missiles. And Talentless is finding the Wily machine to be Buster Weak.
50% chance of it being Buster Weak. It just happened to be on the correct side of 50. And MadMega takes a delay scroll death.
You're going to have to explain that to me as to what exactly just happened there.
It's hard for me to explain as well, since although I know a fair bit of Mega Man 2, I don't quite know everything about it, but I'm probably gonna try to explain it the best I can. Apparently, there's a means to which even while you scroll down, say like a pitfall, a transition pitfall from a ladder, or just a flat out drop, if there's enough lag in the area, there is a chance that the screen can stop scrolling as you try to traverse down to the next area. The transition phase does not activate, and it acts as a pit. So that's what delay scroll is.
Oh, that's unfortunate. And MadMega is in danger of losing the first game here, as it looks like the alien is weak to the quick boomerang, and yeah, that's it. That's the alien. So with an official SRL time of 39 minutes and 6 seconds, we have Talentless as your winner of Game 1.
Yeah, with the alien being weak to quick boomerang, which seems to be one of the usual weaknesses, at least when I play Randomizer. Meanwhile, MadMega takes an unfortunate game over. Wily 4 being the good old blue hell that we know. opting to continue on. He wants to at least finish the seed out. So hopefully Mad Mega can persevere and finish his seed. So we're gonna continue to give our support to the runners. Of course, Fallout runners, Talentless and MadMegaX381, they're taking their time out of their day to put on a good, at least a decent show for you.
Well, I would call a sub 40 time a little more than decent, to be perfectly honest with you. You know, hey, I gotta, you know, give props where they're due.
I was just being general.
Oh, that's all right. You don't need to show humility here. It's you know, with me in the commentary booth, this is no hold barred commentary here. Come on, you know, let loose.
If it was truly no hold barred, we'd be rated R right about now. But since we're all family friendly,
yeah, you know, that whole PG era sort of thing, you know.
all joking aside, seriously, again, GG to Talentless for winning match 1 of the best of 3 between our two runners. As Mad Mega, as I said before, is persevering through Wily 4.
Well, it looks like he's gonna set up a damage boost here to get through, or at least get on the elevator. With having his item 1, 2, and 3 energy back, I kind of figured I would see a couple item 1 platforms here to get through this area a little quicker. But choosing again to damage boost through onto our pause buffer into... looks like using an item 1 platform, and it looks like he's going to be off to the Boo Beam refight here. As he was thwarted previously.
Just thought we'd talk about a little extra feature since Talentless is going through the credits. As you can see, that there is a damage table for both the Robot Masters and the Wily bosses. So if you wasn't sure what weaknesses you had at the time, you can just go see through the credits after you beat the seed and just see what was weak to what.
That's actually good knowledge to know, you know, even though it's a little after the fact, it lets you know, okay, these were the items that, you know, in a perfect world you could have used to get through the boss, and, you know, with perfect knowledge, help you out to... Now, are the weaknesses always the same for particular bosses? Like, are you always going to see, you know, a 1 by the alien as the only item that it would be weak to? Or could it be a 2, a 3, or any other particular number on that chart?
For the Wily bosses, there is a specific number for each boss that a Wily boss is weak to, and it's always going to be that specific number. The only means that it could change is if Buster is available as an extra weakness.
Okay. Because, you know, having a chart is one thing, but being able to read and interpret the chart properly is another thing altogether. And I think, you know, being able to clarify what exactly, you know, you would be looking at once you finish the seed is, say, for a, you know, a newer runner that happens to run the game for the first couple times. And Mad Mega here is on his, I believe, fourth boss, okay. Starting his 5th boss fight here. So it shouldn't be too long before he gets to the Wily machine, and with that being a Buster weak Wily machine, and I believe 3 energy tanks in hand, Mad Mega should be able to get through the end of this gauntlet with little issue.
Just prepping up for the next seed for our two runners. As we're saying, that this is still race 1 of a best of 3 between Talentless and Mad Mega. I'm getting the second seat for the next race ready.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. Yeah, you know, you can duck on out of here. This is you know, just kind of getting through everything to move on to game 2 of our match today. As MadMega is choosing to finish out, I will never say, hey, don't finish out a race. You know, it's definitely well within the runner's right to finish out the game. And I appreciate MadMega for doing that, to be honest with you. I think that's, you know, just a noble thing to do.
Yeah, it's easy to empathize with a runner who has a never say die attitude when going through a race. You just feel a certain sense of speedrunner's pride that you gotta at least try to finish a seed, unless it just goes so far belly up that you just can't help but to forfeit.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, to be honest, I never want to see a forfeit. You know, but with the, you know, in all honesty, I think this could do nothing but help MadMega here. If he can get through the alien and kind of build up a little bit of momentum to start game 2 with, you get through a couple quick stages like Quickman and Flashman, and you can just kind of turn everything around from, you know, all the things that kind of went wrong in game 1 as MadMega heads down Victory Road here to take on the alien.
MadMega slowly traversing his way, taking a couple of unfortunate hits on the acid drops, but still makes his way to the alien, where he's gonna need to find that quick boomer is gonna be the weakness for our alien here. To that fact, we forgot to ask about alien color.
I'm gonna say green with a yellow head.
And I ain't gonna worry about it. Guessing the aliens practically, guessing alien colors practically B tier compared to guessing the dragon.
Well, it looks like MadMega's made the investment of an E-Tank into finding the weakness here for the alien. So it looks like this is going to be it, and he's just found Quick Boomerang as the proper item to be using to defeat the alien, and that'll be it. Let's see. MadMegaX381 is going to... excuse me, MadMegaX is going to finish with an SRL time of 47 minutes and 48 seconds.
GG's Charm Runners. That finishes race 1 of a best of 3. So I'm gonna get their next seed ready, and we can hopefully get straight to our next race.